I don't play tank very often, but when I do, it's usually because somebody just asked me nicely.
Away, beep beep. Hey, I need a gunner for this if you'd like to join.
They just needed some crew. But sometimes they need a lot of crew. Depending on the tank, a tank crew usually needs 3 or more people. Typically, you need a driver, a gunner, and a commander, each of which usually equipped a tank uniform, some basic materials for repairs, and a gas mask to avoid being unalived while you're inside the tank. Sometimes when there are more tanks than people, groups of tanks might settle for ditching a tank commander in favor of just having a driver and gunner. You wouldn't need a tank commander if you can just give the binoculars to your driver who can hop out of the tank and look to see what's ahead anyway. However, this means that while on the move, the tank's vision is very limited, especially given the top-down perspective. This can lead to infantry rushing your tanks with anti-tank grenades, or in the case of this clip, while our lead tank did have a commander watching out for us, they couldn't look at all directions at once.
Behind!
Well played, Wardens. Tanks usually arrive at the front line as a clan, or as a bunch of randoms looking for crews.
Which tank are you in?
That looks pretty well. Chop in the tank.
I like those. They're usually some of the most fun people I've ever run into in Foxhole.
This is a naval engagement now.
Oh, they can't hit us!
Yeah, they're backing up. Let's go.
Get him, boys!
Get
off my property.
I don't think I've ever seen a tank hit a battleship before. That was bad.
And they better be, because if you're going to be stuck in a metal box with them for an hour or so,
Crunch.
you need to get along.
He's presenting his to the enemy.
Armored vehicles tend to inspire confidence and good morale.
Look at big tank.
Tank.
Alright, go fight now.
But sometimes they have a little too much confidence. Like with this guy who couldn't resist the natural half-track urge to run me over. That is some instant karma. Of course, this confidence is very warranted against unprotected infantry. Poor flat bastard.
At least they got it.
But out of all the armored vehicles in the game, I think one stands out in its ability to absolutely inspire its crews to just send it. The Bardiche. The Bardiche is built to take a beating. It's got a large pool of health and armor, as well as a strong 68mm anti-tank gun. The problem is the range of that gun. It only has a range of 35 meters, which might be the lowest range of any main tank gun. So of course, a tank with a lot of health and a short-range gun calls for a very specific playstyle. F*** it, we ball.
Turn to look left.
I have come to show death among you, brother.
Alright, distract.
Take me on your best day, your best days are over.
That one kill.
Brother's family.
2 kills. 3 kills.
Pop him right in the.
Quicker than you mother.
There's outlaws in front of us.
Disabled HDD. There's 4 tanks. 3 tanks.
Let's go. Get we ball.
Oh dear god. Get me ball? Hello?
Get we ball.
What are we doing?
I don't know, but it seems awesome.
Guy, why did you abandon it?
I've been on both sides.
It is a Bardiche. We're not fighting that. We are not fighting that. No. We are not gonna fight that. That is a Bardiche. No. Woo. We are not fighting that.
This one time we were very proud of ourselves after stealing a lot of our equipment back.
Yes!
Best raid ever.
Bards are scary, After seeing that, I hope you can understand why I was giggling like this after stealing a Bardiche when I was a warden. This thing is just so much fun. Also, when I was a warden, I accidentally called every colonial tank I saw a Bardiche. I think I had the Foxhole equivalent of Tigerphobia. Usually in larger battlefields, tanks on both teams tend to form lines to poke at each other until a shell does some catastrophic damage, leading to a decision to push. And when we travel, we usually travel in columns. Sometimes that's just to make sure that nobody gets lost. In smaller battlefields, however, groups of tanks might want to stick to the road, as enemy mines planted outside of the road are perfectly invisible to everyone inside a tank. Watch out, Bard, stop, there's mines in front of you, Bard.
Got hit so many stuff.
Yeah, that was close.
Good call.
But always remember though, there is no such thing as a friendly mine.
No. Oh.
Mines are just one thing to watch out for. People can build tank traps, anti-tank pillboxes, and emplaced anti-tank guns to slow down the advance of tanks. Sometimes they can go a little overboard though, like in this case with Dragon's Teeth, that stopped the enemy tanks while we rained artillery down on them.
Oh, that's beautiful.
At least until nighttime, when their infantry just jumped into the Dragon's Teeth and started using explosives to clear the way.
Kill it. Oh, medic.
Sometimes, if you can't break through these obstacles, it's just better to find a way around them.
The Wardens will never expect this, for us to go around their magical line.
Oh my that actually fits. They're French.
The term "just flank bro" is a statement as old as Foxhole itself. Any situation in the game can be solved by just flanking bro. Even if sometimes planning and executing a flank is a fairly difficult thing to do without being spotted by the enemy.
Nice hits.
But it's just so satisfying to see it happen with tanks.
Oh, they've got a Devitt now.
That's right, I'll try to get behind them, keep going.
Nice kill.
Yeah, that's one take down. Gunner traverse left.
Good kill.
Keep going, steady on. Alright, get ready to retreat now, boys. Finish that off.
Whether a clan decides to drop their column of tanks off a cliff to flank enemy tanks facing the other way, or good tank commanders finding the right path behind the enemy to sandwich them between you and your other tanks. It's just so nice to see a plan come together. But all this changes when the sun sets. At night, the monsters come out. I wouldn't blame tanks for hiding away in fear. Vehicles can be seen at night, so you won't really have to worry about other tanks. But infantry and push guns are completely invisible in the darkness. Depending on what time it is at night, your vision can be limited to just 30 meters, or even 17 meters at midnight. Any infantry or push guns out of that range are completely invisible. Infantry equipped with anti-tank grenades can easily sneak up on you. Squads equipped with anti-tank rocket launchers can instantly wipe out tanks while never even being seen.
3, 2, 1, fire.
Gone.
Let's go.
Rip.
And anti-tank push guns can leave you wondering where the heck that shell came from. In my first war, we had a ton of tanks come and hide inside the walls of our base while we waited for the sun to come back up. And that's when the Colonials struck. The entire night was a blur, a dozen or so tanks stuck in traffic jams in the base, being picked off one by invisible push guns and marauding waves of infantry. We barely made it to sunrise. Even when you feel safe and are just talking to your crews, the enemy can still strike and even steal some tanks from right under your noses.
Alright, well, we have to do it!
Stolen what?
Stolen!
Wait, the Widow? Is the Widow stolen?
Don't fire, don't fire,
Don't fire, don't fire.
Oh,
Oh my god.
Shoot it out loud.
Do we shoot it?
Yes, shoot it.
Lock everything! Everyone, go lock everything here! I don't
I'm holding out. Hold up.
Tanking at night can be a very stressful experience.
I'm your tank commander. Please f***ing back up. Please back up, you guys. Please back the f*** up. Please. Thank you. I was scared. Stop, please. Thank you.
Why you guys keep crying?
Of course, nighttime can also just be empty, which means you'll have to make light conversation with the people stuck in the tin can with you.
If you really speak English, tell me multiple swear words in English.
No, I'm a
Okay, that's fair.
vagina. What?
Okay, you speak English.
Or it gets really questionable.
Wait, my gunner's taking
We need a
blue.
What?
Yeah.
It helps that tank crews can be some of the loudest people that you'll ever meet in Foxhole. And I think that's great.
Oh my god, get him, boys!
You might frequently hear people say death before dismount when talking about tank crews. One thing that you don't want happening while crewing a tank is getting your tank stolen by the enemy. This can happen if the whole crew leaves the tank and is killed by an artillery shell or some really lucky soldier that was just hanging around. Because after you're out of the way, using a wrench to unlock the tank is all they have to do to just steal the tank. Alternatively, they can also use gas grenades to get you while you're still in the tank, and that's why tank crews should always be wearing gas masks. But sometimes you could get lucky and the enemy accidentally blows up your tank instead. Then of course, there's also my favorite method of using 2 bikes to trap a tank. Tanks can't run over bikes. But if your tank is disabled and you're out of filters, they're just gonna steal the tank. So, the best thing you can do is to dispatch the tank yourself, of course.
No!
Sadly, a big part of tanking is making sacrifices and favorable trades. Whether it's to send in a bardiche to soak up all of the hits while the rest of the team takes out the enemy's 3 tanks, or being told by the guy leading your column that your tanks are inferior compared to the other clan's tanks, and you should act as shields and take shots for them.
We're the same speed as these other guys, but they have a better cannon, so our job is to go in and die.
That's...
The decision-making that tank leaders have to do is something that I do not envy. Especially when you're responsible for something like the super heavy tank. These are monsters, enormous beasts that strike fear into the enemy. Not only because they're big, but because they're a flex. You see, typically super heavy tanks are not considered, well, economically efficient. They cost a lot to build and are usually not worth it for what they can do. But they're pretty cool, and they give both sides something to cheer on. Friendly troops see a morale boost, and the enemy sees a large target to focus on and take down.
Fuel it, track it, fuel it, come on.
Tanking in Foxhole is pretty fun, but it's entirely dependent on who you're playing with. The whole crew needs to communicate, so I wouldn't advise tanking without a mic.
No!
What the
That's... You can do it, you can do it. No!
Oh no, it's gone now.
No! Oh, tank of the lake, tell us your wisdom. Goodbye.
It's okay.
After all that,